We are getting ready for the spring counteroffensive. More and more people volunteer or get into the army and getting the trainings. We are getting more and more weapons to fight back and to regain our territories. They already learned that our air defense systems are very effective against just a couple of missiles if they're sending them in small numbers. So what they need to do to really complete their terrorist attacks is to launch simultaneously many missiles in different areas from different starting points. And this is what happened 2 days ago. It is just terrifying because it brings back the terror to what we kind of exhaled off. And the cities that were targeted, like a city of Uman, were a really unexpected target. And it gives us even more resolve to push back. And there is a message that I want to deliver. The talks, the hopes for peace do not stop Russia. The missiles, the air defense systems do stop them. Basically, of 23 missiles that they sent our way, 21 was intercepted. And this means that there could be much more victims. And the only way for us to defend ourselves is to get more air defense systems and be prepared. You cannot negotiate with the terrorists. You cannot stop the terrorists with the hopes. The only way to stop them is to fight back and be prepared to defend yourself.
In terms of defending yourself and Ukraine defending itself, do you feel confident in the ability of the Ukrainian armed forces to maintain this level of fighting? There has been such a huge toll of deaths and injuries on both sides. And there is, for quite some time now, been suggestion that fighting is going to intensify, that a counter-offensive to reclaim Russian-occupied territory will begin by Ukrainian forces. What can you say about the condition of the armed forces on the front lines?
Well, of course, at the places where the fighting is incredibly intensive, like the city of Bakhmut, people are exhausted and it's just terrifying. However, in general, we are getting ready for the spring counteroffensive. More and more people volunteer or get into the army and getting the trainings. We are getting more and more weapons to fight back and to regain our territories. I think many of us have seen the recent video of terrorists cutting a prisoner's head off with a knife. This is what's happening to our people at the occupied territories. And this is why we know that there is no other way for us than to win the war. Otherwise, it will happen to all of us. And this is why we have the urge, we have the resolve, and we have the hope to push forward and to throw Russian troops out of our territories.
You mentioned a moment ago the peace talks. That's because in the last few days, China said it will send officials to Kyiv to try to broker a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. Do you feel confident in China's ability to succeed where no one else appears to have made progress when it comes to peace talks?
Well, you know, the keys for the peace are not in Ukraine. The keys for the peace are in Kremlin. If they remove their troops and stop fighting, there would be peace. So it's a wrong place where China would start with. But I want to show you that recently Russia actually welcomed the attempts of China, and this is why it is not good to us. It seems to me that these are the attempts to drag the attention from sending Ukraine the weapons, from supporting Ukraine to something else, to the point that peace negotiations are possible. Putin is playing the war of attrition. He hopes that he could drag us into a war that is a decades long, when all our allies would get the fatigue and stop helping us. We are saying we do not have this time. We want to push back right now. We want to win the war immediately. And this is why there are the attempts of Putin's allies to say, well, no, we still think there is a diplomatic peace possible. I do not think there is a person in the world that has the democratic views that thinks that the agreement is possible, because nobody sees how they will make sure that Russia will not attack us again. And this is critical. This is the key point. How do you make sure that in 2, 3, 5 years, Russia, after those peace deal, would not break it?
Kira, just a final question on this, which is, I believe, day 430 of this war. How are you? How are you doing?
Well, we are all terrified. I am terrified with the recent attacks, honestly, because children died, and it just so unfair. I cannot begin to tell you. And every single day when you're going to bed, you do not know if you're going to wake up. But on the other hand, I know that it was not given for us to get to this 430 day. And it's still a miracle and the result of such a hard work. And what we can do to our country, for our country and for our people, is never stop trying, never stop working, and use every single day as a matter to win the war. This is the question that I'm asking myself every single morning. What I can do today to make sure that we are one step closer to the victory. And this is how we live, pushing forward, terrified, but also making sure that we will win eventually.